God, what an absolute beauty this thing is. Full throttle blast here, a little vertical, and it's just going. Holy, I didn't expect that climb out. What's going on, guys? We are back out here at the field with another Maiden, and this time it's going to be the brand new F-86 Sabre from FMS. And this thing is absolutely beautiful with all the scale details. I mean, check out that canopy inside. It is just absolutely ridiculous. And I have the glare from the from the light right now. But man, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Check out the nose gear, the doors, lights all the way around, wingtip lights. We even have lights in the tail. Man, this thing is absolutely awesome from FMS. And I'll tell you what, man, the one thing that FMS needs to do now is to make a MiG-15 to rival this thing, because I mean, how awesome would that be to have a MiG-15 and an F-86 Sabre flying at the field? But man, they knocked it out of the park with this one. You got the air brakes, and I actually have those set on a mix. So the way the plane comes out of the box, they give you a Y cable to tie it in with the flaps. I didn't do it that way. I split it out, and I have a mix so that when I deploy my flaps, as you see there, the takeoff flaps, you don't have the air brakes out, and then on full flaps, the air brakes do come out. And the way I did that, I had to use a 7-channel receiver in order to do that and split out the air brakes on their own channel. But yeah, man, this thing is absolutely beautiful. The way it comes, the aft section here is comes separate, and you have to put this on. And I want to give you guys a pro tip. If you are going to get this model or have gotten it and haven't put it together yet, there's 2 carbon spars that slide into the fuse. Make sure that you get all the excess glue from around the carbon spars, and on the fuselage itself there might be some excess glue. I had trouble getting my tail in. It wouldn't slide in smoothly because it had a bunch of excess glue that I had to remove out of there. Let's pop the air brakes here. So as you can see right here where it screws in for the tail, and there's another screw down at the bottom there. But yeah, guys, let's get this thing set out on the runway and get her ready for her maiden flight. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna do the maiden flight with the tanks on or the tanks off. I mean, the F-86 is so iconic with the tanks on there. But I am gonna try to do 2 flights for you guys here today. So either the Maiden's gonna have the tanks on, or the second flight will have the tanks on. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. But let's get this thing set out on the runway and get ready for the maiden flight. All right, so we got her set out there on the runway. 1 notch of flaps is dialed in. Control surfaces have been checked. I am flying on a 5200 6S battery. So yeah, man, I'm both excited and nervous for this one. So without further ado, let's get her up in the air and go flying. And she is up in the air. Let's get the gear up and the flaps up. What an absolute beauty. Let's throttle down a little bit. Seems to be climbing a little bit. Let me come back on this sort of pattern here. A little out there, but we're trying to see if we can get her trend. She's climbing a little bit there. Let's turn her around. I think I'm gonna have to dial in, go to my higher rate. She's climbing some. Go to the right. And the climb could just be my battery placement. But man, she is flying. Oh yeah, that's so much better now with the on the higher rate. Oh yeah. What an absolute beauty. And the sound is amazing. You can see that light in the tail there. Let's give her a roll. Oh yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is I need to pop the flaps to see how she's gonna react. That's half flaps. That's full flaps with the air brakes out. And it seems to be doing pretty good. No bad tendencies, didn't really pitch up or pitch down violently, so we're good there. And so now what I want to do is I want to see how she's going to drop in for an approach. So we're going to throttle off here, and I'm going to, let's actually give it more throttle. Went a little bit further out than what I wanted. I just want to see the sink rate on it. So we're going to come back around. And I did break my front gear door, unfortunately, and we'll talk about that when we get her on the table after the flight. We're gonna throttle off here. We're just gonna let's see what she does when she drops. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some nose down. She's got some good glide to her. Oh my God, look at this. Look at the ups. She's inverted. Looks like it's gonna do really good in the inverted, actually. Wow, what an absolute beauty. So we're gonna come by here. We're gonna flip her upside down. Oh yeah, some down pressure, some up pressure, but not too much. All right, so let's check my timer. I'm about at 30 seconds. So we're gonna get the gear out here on this pass. And our gear are out. And we're going to try to set up for a landing. And we'll put a notch of flaps in there. Let's bring her around nice and gentle, I like. Using some rudder to carry her over. Gonna pop the full flaps there. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, whoo! The jitters got me going, man. I'm puckered nice and tight, and my hands are a little jittery, but man, what an absolute dream. She flew beautiful. You can see the air brakes are popped out there with the full flaps. But yeah, man, let's get this thing back on the table and talk about it a little bit. All right, guys, so that was the 3-minute flight there, and we can see our battery here is at 28%, which is pretty good on this 5200. I am also running a Lemon 7-channel Gen 2 receiver, which these receivers actually been working really, really good. I debated about doing a 8360 because I do have one at home, but I use that for a different model, and this receiver's been working out really, really well, so I decided just to go with it. But yeah, we're gonna get another flight in here. The second flight I'm gonna do without the tanks to see how that goes. So let's get back out on the runway and get ready for flight number 2. All right, we got her back out here on the runway, ready for flight number 2. I've removed the tank, so we're gonna fly it clean this time. I also gave myself a little bit more elevator in the elevator rate, just because it felt like it probably could use a little bit more from the first flight. So we have added that in. Also on my flaps, I have elevator correction of I think it's 5% down elevator on takeoff flaps, and full flaps with the air brakes out, 12% on that. And the plane seems to work pretty well with that. It didn't have any, any violent or any kind of climb issues or pitch down issues. So that seemed to work very well, so I just left that alone. And for this flight, we are flying again on a 5200 6S battery. This time is a 50C pack. The first battery pack was a 100C pack, actually, an HRB 100C 5200. This one is an Ovonic 50C 5200 pack. So yeah, without further ado, we have one notch of flaps dialed in. Control surfaces have been checked, and we're just going right straight to the high rates. The low rates were a little too docile for me. I liked it on the high rate setting a little bit better. And like I said, I did add just a touch more elevator. So we'll see how that goes. But without further ado, let's get this plane up in the air for flight number 2. All right, bring the gear up. flaps up. And man, I love the sound the thing makes. The roll rate's pretty good. I thought that for such a big bird, that the roll rate wouldn't be as good, but the roll rate is pretty good. And I like that a little bit more elevator. So I had a 75% elevator on the first flight, and I bumped it up to 80%. And it seems to be doing well. See if we can, I know I'm kind of high up there, see if we can get her to come down the runway here. Full throttle pass. God, what an absolute beauty. I just love F-86 Sabres in general, even the real one. And an RC version, I mean, this rendition of it is absolutely stellar. Do a nice little loop here. Kind of went a little wonky off to the side there, but we managed to work it out. God, what an absolute beauty this thing is. Full throttle blast here, a little vertical, and it's just going. Holy, I didn't expect that climb out, and I'm way behind myself here. I didn't expect that climb out. Holy, and it's got ups, that's for sure. So what I want to do now is I have a switch for just the air brakes, so let's pop those and see what it does. Okay, nice. So it doesn't have any tendencies, like it doesn't have any pitch up or pitch down tendencies when I deploy just the air brakes alone. So that's cool. Man, what an awesome plane. I hate that I broke my gear door. So when I was putting the plane together, I was dialing in the rates, and the plane almost rolled off the bench, and I caught it just in time before it rolled off the bench, and unfortunately it landed right on the gear door, and it snapped the tab, and I tried to super glue it back together, but it just didn't hold. Let's check my timer here, and I'm at about 20 seconds out or something. So let's get the gear out. Yeah, I can see all the gear. I'm not really set up for the approach here, so we're gonna go back around and get into my approach. All right, so we're gonna do a notch of flaps here. Start throttling down. Get into my turn. I'm gonna throttle off there. Add throttle as I need it. We're gonna go full flaps here. Whew, a little bit hotter than what I wanted. I gave a little bit too much throttle, and I don't like doing that because sometimes it'll tend to want to bounce on you, and you got a little bouncy there, but not too bad. So let's bring her back over here. What an absolute beauty this thing is. Oh my God, I am absolutely ecstatic with it. This plane flies, it literally flies on rails, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like this thing flies amazing. It's an F-86 Sabre, and if you've flown other F-86 Sabres and know how stable those things are, this is no different, man. It flies absolutely amazing. I'm in love with it already. I can't wait to get more flights on this thing and get more loose with it. Because it's a brand new plane, and you know, I really don't want to damage its beauty. So you tend to get a little bit jittery your first couple of flights. But yeah, man, let's get her back on the table and wrap this thing up. All right, so checking the cells for this flight, you can see we are at 21%, which is not too bad. That's pretty good. I mean, this 80 millimeter on these 5,000 batteries, they do really, really good. Even if you're hard on the throttle on them. I mean, that was a 3-minute timer, and I'm still at 21% there, which is pretty good. All right, and there you have it. Those are the first 2 flights with the brand new F-86 Sabre from FMS. What an absolute beauty! Holy look, I'm just blown away. I mean, if the thing just doesn't look as just gorgeous just sitting here with all the scale details, it's that much better in the air. Holy. And let's take a look at my door here, and as you can see where it broke there, you can see the tab there broke off the gear door, and I tried to super glue it back on, and that didn't work. So I don't know, hopefully they sell a door replacement. I can get another door. As you see, my door is missing there. Also, this thing has landing lights in the front, which are pretty cool. But yeah, man, there you have it. That's going to be the brand new 80 millimeter F-86 Sabre from FMS. Yeah, man, I can't say enough about this plane. I'm in love. I'm in love. I would love for FMS to come out with a MiG-15 to sit right next to this thing and look just as gorgeous. That would be amazing. But yeah, man, let's get another walk around this absolute beauty. I mean, look at this thing. Holy. I love the way they did the gun port here. Kind of mimics the real one. The nav lights, the pitot tube there. You got the lights in the tail. I actually I debated whether or not to put a light, afterburner light in the back of this plane. I do have some at home. Only reason I didn't is because this plane, the real one, wasn't a supersonic jet, and it did not have an afterburner. So for scale detail, I left the light in. I might put a light in it just for fun because it does look pretty cool. But like I said, the real one wasn't a supersonic plane, although pilots did say they could get the F-86 to go supersonic, but it wasn't traditionally a supersonic plane, and it didn't have an afterburner in those days. Also, they offer this plane in 2 liveries. They have this one, which is the Huff, as you see there, and they have the Sky Blazers, which is a tribute livery, if you will. But for me, these iconic F-86, when I think of an F-86, I think of those, that chrome-like finish, that polished aluminum, and those yellow stripes. I'm just so geeked out over this plane. This thing is absolutely amazing, and FMS knocked it out of the park with this one, man, for real. So yeah, man, if you're on the fence with one of these, just get it. Just do it. Also, there's creator codes that some of the influencers out there have. Try to find that 5% code. This plane retails for $4.99. I got mine for $4.75 using one of the creator codes, or one of the influencers codes that was 5%, which gave me $25 off the plane, which is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get this thing back up in the air and have fun with it. And but that's gonna do it for me from the field, and I will catch you guys in the next one.